meantime, what you're doing right now, I think for many of you, I think most of you are juniors, are planning ahead for a year from now, and thinking about applying for internships. And I imagine most of you are planning on applying, and that's why you're here today, or at least thinking about it or exploring the options. So what should you be doing now before your senior year hits? Well, before, and I know some of you have seen this before, but I also want to be sure that it's clear from the beginning that it is pretty challenging to get a dietetic internship. It is a competitive environment, and the data are not out yet for this spring, but based on what we've seen the last two springs, in April 2009 and April 2010, there have been over 4,000 applications for internships, and there are about a little over 2,000 positions available. So it's about half of individuals who apply are matched to an internship. And I know, even though the data are not out for this spring, that it was looking like a similar number. I think it was around 4,200 or 4,300 applicants. So it's been staying pretty steady the last few years. So it is competitive. So what I want to talk to you about today is wherever you are right now, how can you be as competitive as possible when application time comes around next year? So thinking about your academic qualifications first, and that's basically how you performed in your coursework. For most dietetic internships, there's a minimum 3.0 GPA to apply. That's not necessarily the most competitive GPA. Typically, I'd say probably when you're getting into the 3.4, 3.5 range is where you're going to be most competitive. But individuals in closer to 3.0 do get internships occasionally as well. It really depends on what your overall qualifications look like, not just academics, but also extracurricular activities, leadership, experience overall. So there are several things that go into that, but this is part of it. Major grades, those grades in your nutrition major courses, and your science grades are important. There may be, if there are really key courses that you didn't do as well in as you'd like to, and that's one thing you can think about as far as improving your overall academic qualifications, is maybe retaking key courses. Now, GRE scores, not all dietetic internships require GREs. Certainly those that are linked to a graduate program do, and there are other ones that like to see GREs as well. Now, one thing to think about, and I've been telling students this for years, is you probably want to take GREs in the summer or early in the fall of your senior year, so that scores are available when application time rolls around in December, January, February, because it takes a bit of time. Now, one thing that's going to be new this year is they're reformatting the entire GRE, so it's going to be different starting August 1st. So one thing you might want to think about, I would definitely, if you're thinking about applying to graduate school and/or dietetic internship, go to the GRE website and check that out. They do have a bargain. I don't know how many bargain shoppers there are out there besides me. I don't need to take the GRE this year, so this isn't one I could take advantage of. But because it's a brand new exam as of August 1st, there's a 50% off rate from August 1st to September 30th. They're basically trying to get as many people as possible to take it during those first 2 months, so they can establish the percentiles during that time. I mean, the test itself has been pre-tested and well developed, but they need to have some sort of basis when they start sending score reports out as far as where the percentiles are falling. So you might want to think about that. Registration is open already, and that's if you don't need exam scores until after mid-November. If a program you're applying to needs them earlier than that, then you should take the older exam before August 1st. So scores are going to look a little bit different. The scores for the verbal section and quantitative section are going to be 130 to 170 for the possible range. Analytical writing one is still 6.0. And if you're not familiar with the GREs, I realize I jumped into that, and some of you may not have even been thinking about it yet, but we think ACT, SAT, this is sort of a graduate school entrance type of exam. And one thing that I'll tell you also is that once the internship application cycle has gone past and get to the end of that, there are internships at the end that have openings, not a lot, and not a huge selection, but there are a few, and most of the times the ones that don't fill require the GRE. So that's not something that you can get together real quickly. So if you already have GRE scores, you're in a position to apply for those at that time too. And please stop me if you have any questions. I'm going to try and move through this as quickly as I can. That's not one of my fortes, but I will try so we can get to the panelists so you can hear from them. The other thing one other thing you want to think about is references, because you're going to need strong references from individuals who are in a good position to write references for graduate school or internships. And those typically are going to be professors, faculty members. I'd say 2 faculty members is appropriate. And a work-related reference, especially if it's nutrition-related, would be really important. And people who know you well enough to be able to speak to your character and your abilities and your qualifications. You know, if they know that you've been on a class roster and that's about all they know about you, they can discuss your performance in class a bit. You know, they came to exams. You know, I know I have scores on here, but if they can talk a little bit more about your abilities, your professionalism, and your involvement, you know, participate in class, come to class, all that good stuff, that really can help. And getting involved in research projects with faculty members outside of the classroom, and, you know, knowing your references well can be really helpful, so that they can write something meaningful with greater depth. So tips, yeah, and I know this is an outdated reference perhaps now, but everything I ever really needed to know I learned in kindergarten. You know, it's all you know, play nice with your peers, be respectful of everyone around you, cultivate relationships, do your best work, follow the rules. All those things that you think about are important in assuring that if you cannot think right now of 3 individuals that would be good references for you, be thinking about that over the next few months so you can identify individuals who will be able to serve as good references for you by the time you need those, say December or January. Okay, so think about your qualifications beyond academics and beyond identifying references. There are lots of things that can make you stand out. Volunteering for any health and nutrition related community service opportunities, volunteer activities, employment, if you have any health or nutrition related employment is beneficial. Getting involved in organizations, UNSA and the Knoxville District Dietetic Association, sure. But there are lots of other campus organizations as well, and any type of leadership involvement. Being a member, but also being involved in committees or taking on leadership positions are all extremely beneficial in building your leadership skills. And internships look for that. They really do. Participating in research opportunities within the department can be beneficial as well. Presenting research work at professional meetings is important. So just thinking about all these different things, and everybody I know comes with a different set of skills and experiences, and that is fine. Being an RA, having a minor in an area of interest, psychology, journalism, whatever, is a particular interest to you. Build some additional skills and study abroad, speak another language, and if you don't already, maybe that's not something you're going to do before December. But these are just some ideas. Being financially self-supporting could be a boon too, because I know it seems like I've been having more students, and you may be among them too, in recent years that are paying their own way through college, and that shows a lot of dedication. And internship directors can appreciate students who are so focused on their goal of building their academic career that they are working to pay for their university education. So